Hey guys, I am still in the hospital. Obviously, my house doesn't look like this, but I am at least out of the ER. I finally got a room last night, so that is great. I'm going to be here until the 16th, but my dad came up today to bring me some snacks and stuff, and he also brought something very exciting. One, headphones, because mine died. If you watched my last vlog, they disappeared into the abyss of the ER, but brought something else. So if you guys have been following along, you know that I write books. I wrote Breathing Roses, I wrote Thunder's Corner, and I just most recently wrote Hypervigilance. I finished it like March 25th or so, and I got, these arrived on Sunday, but because I've been here, I couldn't do anything about it, but I finally got my book. I ordered 2 of these because one I'm going to keep. I always just keep 1 copy of my own books, and then one I'm going to take to a bookstore. But yeah, Hypervigilance is here. So excited. Nobody's bought it yet, which is kind of a bummer, but hopefully somebody, I'll get something. But anyway, I'm super excited to hold it in my hands. It's like in between Thunder's Corner and Breathing Roses. Breathing Roses was 77 pages. Thunder's Corner was 136, I believe, and this one is 129. So I'm kind of like in the novella category, but I'm fine with that. So Hypervigilance, and then if you guys want to read the synopsis, but also I'm going to give you a bit of a funny behind the scenes. So you always have to have the rights to a cover you use for the book, especially if you're going to sell it. Like, you have to have the rights to the image, right? So if you notice, it's kind of like split, like this lady staring out into the wilderness. So the picture, the wilderness, is from when we went to Arizona all the way back in 2012. If you guys don't know, my aunt lives in Arizona, one of them. So the picture is we took in Arizona. I think it was like part of the Grand Canyon, and the person staring into the abyss is me wearing a jacket, looking away from the camera, photoshopped onto the Grand Canyon picture. So there's a little behind the scenes look at how I make my book covers. But yeah, you wouldn't know by looking at it that it's me in a jacket, but for all intents and purposes, this is supposed to be Olivia in the wilderness, which the book is based in Arizona. So this is Olivia. I kind of designed the cover before I finished the book. So I'm like, when I went back to edit, because I originally wrote that Olivia was wearing a light green jacket, and then I made the cover, and I was like, nope, Olivia is wearing a green jacket now. So, so yeah, it's just really fun to see and hold my 3rd book in my hands. This is my 3rd book, and I've gotten better at the formatting process. I don't know what that noise is. You're gonna have to ignore me. I've gotten better at the formatting process, just the way that the pages are lined up. And then for Breathing Roses, the chapters are kind of in the middle of the page, because it's the first time I ever formatted a book. But here, I always make sure that the chapters started on a new page. And this one has 17 chapters. It's just chapter 1, etc. Breathing Roses again. I have too many books to keep track of. Thunder's Corner has named chapters. So the only thing I did mess up on when I say I'm really good at formatting pages is I accidentally started page 1 on the blank pages at the beginning of the book instead of on chapter 1. So chapter 1 actually starts on page 7, but so it's just really cool to hold my 3rd book in my hands. This book, every book was different. Breathing Roses took me, I would say, let me see, it started in September to January, so not very long. This one took me 5-ish months. I guess that was around the same as Breathing Roses, to be honest. 5-ish months to write this, except this one has, I think 29K words, or almost 30K words. Breathing Roses is 20K, and Thunder's Corner was 40K. So again, this is smack dab in the middle. Thunder's Corner took me 9 months to write. So, this was about 5 months of work, because you got to plan the book. You got to write the first draft, which is my favorite part, because you could just do whatever the heck you want, right? But then you got to edit it and fix it and format it. And I hate the editing and the formatting, but I love the writing, and I love the end result. So I already do have an idea for another book, because I actually had an idea before this book, but I was like, I want to try a thriller. So, but I'm taking a break. I don't know when I'm going to be writing that book, but so anyway, I just very happy to have my 3rd book in my hands, and it's just crazy. Like I'm currently reading this while I'm here, the second book of the Maze Runner series. And what's interesting to me now is when I read this, I mean, obviously I get absorbed in the story and I love reading, but I don't just think about like the story itself. I think about how much work the author must have put into this book, and how long this idea must have been in his head, and all those lonely hours before anybody's read it, and then you read it in like a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. I think the Maze Runner took me like maybe 3 weeks, and this one probably will be less than that because it's something to do here. So it's just interesting to see it from a author perspective now, of like a reader and an author perspective, because for me, like with this book, I know it cover to cover, right? Because I spent 5 months in this world. When somebody reads this, they're just going to read the story. They're not going to see all the behind the scenes, just like for me with the Scorch Trials, which makes me think like how much work he must have put into this. So anyway, a little bit of excitement for being in the hospital, but the plan is basically to stay here until the 16th, get 10 days of IV antibiotics, and then go home and hopefully not be in the hospital again. So anyway, I'm going to chill. I'm going to actually read until dinner gets here, and just super exciting.